Hey, it's me, Liz, at Book Learning. Welcome back. It's been really busy around here. My husband and I drove up to Buffalo and back in a weekend to help celebrate my grandma's pending 90th birthday. That was fun. And then the week we got back, I had an all-day interview, which on its own was really exhausting. So I'm just enjoying taking this Saturday to recollect myself after all the craziness so far. I finished the Moor's account by Laila Lalami. I don't have it on me because I immediately lent it to my friend Kyle. It was really good. It's a historical fiction told from the perspective of a North African who becomes enslaved by choice, oddly enough, and to Spaniards, and as a slave is taken to the Spanish New World. So it gives a unique perspective in that it's a man of color, a slave, being forced along this journey, as well as, at least for me, a different perspective on early American history, because it's talking about the Spanish New World as opposed to the British New World. Growing up in Virginia near Jamestown and Williamsburg and Washington, D.C., we got a lot of the British New World perspective, and I've only gotten a little bit of the French New World perspective when I studied abroad in Canada. So this is new to me, and it was really exciting. I thought it was a very well-paced book. It chooses an antiquated language style, but not in a way that you just have to slog through it. She gives you just enough references to put you in the mood, but doesn't make it an obstacle to enjoying the book. So the Moor's account by Laila Lalami, highly recommend it. It's a really nice, a lighter historical fiction, kind of like an action book for the summer. I also had picked up off my shelf In the Name of Identity by Amin Maalouf. I only read a little bit of it, but I really enjoyed what I read. I just had to step away from the heavier essay material to prepare for my interview. So I will be getting back to this. It reminded me a lot of the material that I studied as an undergrad and as a master's student. So it's checking all of the intellectual boxes for me. I'm really enjoying it. My husband and I started reading out loud, and whoever wasn't driving read this out loud to the other person, To Like the Lightning by Ada Palmer. It's a speculative, what does it call it? A speculative science fiction book. It has a very detailed universe, world that it creates around several main characters narrated by one of them, a slave of the state type character. So instead of being put in jail for life, he is a wandering workman, a wandering laborer, and any citizen of the world can tell him to, can ask him to do some work, and that is the only way he will be fed, is by doing work every day for the rest of his life. I'm really enjoying it so far. The story is really interesting. The parts that are slowing me down are the how detailed this world is. It takes me several pages to get back into it, but I am pretty sure that has just more to do with where my mind is right now in terms of being smushed by work and looking for a job and all the other things. So, so that's one thing. And then the other thing, which turned off my husband, was the constant references to gender. And it's not yet important in the book, so that's really frustrating. I don't know if it will ever be as important as is suggested by how many times it's referenced in the book, but the narration style is that every now and again the narrator will stop and like break the fourth wall, sort of, and talk to you as a stranger from a different time period reading this book. And several times he's talking to you about gender, and it's just not that important. It's like, it's not that important yet, so I'm just like, why? But the story is interesting enough for me that I will continue it. I think I'll just have to take it at a slower pace. So in my effort to find lighter fare, I picked up Jane Steele by Lyndsey Faye from the library, and I was really disappointed with it. I got about 92, 93 pages in, and the book was sold to me by BookTube and by the Flap as the tale of a female murderess. But within the first roughly 100 pages, you find out that her first murder, spoiler alert, is an accident because she pushes her cousin who was trying to rape her. And then she gets sent to a boarding school where the only male staff person, the head of the school, is this lecherous, pedophile, gross dude character who's like just disgusting. And it felt to me, as someone who knows people who have been raped, that this was more of a rape fantasy book than anything else, and I was really disappointed by that. I was excited to try to pick something up that was a little darker, but at the same time a lighter writing style, and this just didn't do it for me. So I was complaining to my husband about my disappointment with Jane Steele, and he told me to read Stephen King. The Drawing of the Three. It's the second book in the Dark Tower series, and I'm about 100 pages in, and I'm enjoying it so far. The last time my husband insisted I read a book of his that he really liked, it turned out really well. It was a Chuck Palahniuk book about a girl who goes to hell. It's on the shelf downstairs and I'm too lazy to go get it. But it turned out really well. So I trusted him even more this time, and I'm really enjoying it. The one thing I don't like about Stephen King as one of his like constant things is that he's always making these just like blanket male-centered sexual references, like jacking off and whatever. Not my favorite. But the story is really interesting because it's got this like multiple dimensions thing, taking over somebody's body puzzle type of situation going on, and I'm really enjoying it. It's the right book at the right time, I think. And Stephen King, it's like my first Stephen King that I'm actually reading, as opposed to just reading the last 60 pages out loud for my husband while he drives us all across the western United States. So that's my quick reading update as I try to gather my thoughts again. I have a lot of books that I got for my birthday or from the library, so I'll try to put something up about those in a hot minute. Thanks for coming back, and I'll see you again, and I hope you have a good reading weekend. Bye.